Peace. What's up, guys? What's up, Charles? How are you, bro?
I'm doing fine.
All right, all set up and ready to go. What up? Happy Saturday, everybody. What a weird weather today. Rain, stop, rain, stop. The wind was nice, though. It was nice and cool. So I ain't complaining about that. It was nice.
Hmm.
What are you eating, Charlie?
Vegan, vegan today.
I was just telling Charlie I had a Patsy made a eggplant um,
Parmesan.
parmesan, but she added in lasagna noodles. It was like a lasagna without meat and eggplant and all the vegetables. Was really good, man. Really, really good.
That's the way
Yeah,
to do it.
I don't know if it's vegan or not because I'm not sure what is vegan and what is not vegan. They say nothing with a face, so I'm not sure if lasagna noodles because maybe they use eggs. I don't even know. The intent was not to go eat vegan tonight. It was just she saw this thing on the food channel which she watches during the
Hmm.
day, and she said, I'm gonna try that. And we have our eggplant from the garden, so it was
Wow.
actually very, very, very delicious. Very delicious.
Well,
In fact, I think I'm gonna have another piece right after the show.
it's all about sustainability. If you can grow and you can consume to help your family out, hey, that's a start.
Yeah.
Meeting that goal of being sustainable. That's why I didn't know that beef is actually it's a vegetable. I didn't know
That what was a vegetable?
beef. Beef. No, no, no laugh. It's a vegetable. Because cows eat grass. They don't cows don't eat other meat. They eat grass. So then it turns into grass in their body. So that's vegetable.
Okay. Yeah, we were watching the food channel all day. It was pretty cool, actually. It was pretty cool. Just watching these guys, all the food challenges where chefs compete against each other, and they get the surprise ingredients, and they gotta whip something up. I'm impressed with some of these guys, man. They're really good. They're really good.
Yeah. No,
Anyway, oh God, I still think about the mayor and Dr. Behrman on our show, and so I just appreciate them so much
hmm
as developments occur throughout the state. And listen, whether you agree or disagree with the mayor's position and his policies, one thing you gotta admit: Kauai has its stuff together. I mean, from day one, we had our stuff together.
hmm
I mean, there's no one can dispute that. Every island get issues. I don't know if you noticed that, Charlie. And yeah, maybe I'm biased because I'm here on Kauai, but I'm an objective kind of guy, and I look every time I check my news headlines on the phone or turn on the TV. There's some crisis somewhere else. You notice that, Charlie?
hmm
I know you do because I read your posts. You can it's like clockwork. When the alert hits, there's a post coming from Charlie real soon. And one thing about your post is very thought provoking. Not too many people can write like that. So appreciate those posts. But yeah, I just saw somebody post Maui is having a rough time. Maui is in trouble. That's what we've been trying to say, that we are one case away. Anybody, any island, any city, any town, any community, whether you're here in Hawaii or in California or Texas or Idaho or Iowa, you're one case away from getting into trouble. That's what COVID is. So we pray for Maui. We pray. And the problem is once you and I don't want to say you let it go because COVID has a mind of its own, but once it gets past that tipping point, then it's hard. It's difficult. And that is why you don't want to get to that point. And that's the part I don't understand, why people have such a difficult time understanding that you got to stop it before it starts to carry its own life. That's what we've been talking about for a year, Charlie.
hmm
and all
hmm
the experts have as well. So I don't
Well,
know. What are
you
your
know,
thoughts, Charles? What are your thoughts?
well, today I kind of, and I'll be honest, I posted about genome sequencing and, apologize. Some people thought I took it out of context because I used the word nerd. But all I was saying is, I can understand and appreciate with genome sequencing why it's so complicated. But you got to be somebody who just gonna sit there and look for all these damn differences. Okay, I don't understand it. I'm glad you want to do it because I seldom don't want to do it. All I know, if I get sick, oh well, I do my best to fight the damn thing off if I can. So, I put it on there because there's this process in which they go through it all. And for the life of me, I don't know if our state really thinks that that's something to be concerned about or not. The way they everything seems so very nonchalant. You notice that
Yeah.
unless they're really really worried, but they don't want to go into panic mode. I personally just want them to be honest. You be honest, because I'll give you Maui for instance. Today was the first time I heard the breakdown of Maui cases because of that delay, that November 2020 to now, because there's a numerical situation that I don't know what, and well, just put it this way, I can't grasp what seems to be the problem. But anyway, they did the breakdown, and they said that so much was in the prison, so much was clustered, so much was um, community spread, so much was in a restaurant. My thinking is, why are you folks being so honest now? You should have done that earlier. Because if you told me restaurants in Lahaina was being bombarded with viruses, that would make a whole lot of people think twice about going to restaurants in Lahaina, right? Common sense. It's like saying, don't go out tonight. There's a lot of gunfire in Kihei, as an example. Don't get me wrong. I'm just using it as an example. Why would you want to be Ne'ele and go look and see if it's real or not and get tagged by one stray bullet? I mean, does that make sense to you now? That's
No,
the
no,
reason
it
why
doesn't.
I put some of these thought-provoking articles in to just stir people's mind and says, hey, this thing is real. Maybe we can look at it from a different angle because for some reason, the way the state is doing it is really not appealing to me. And it's leaving a lot of us in the dark. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful that for the county of Kauai, we have a health officer and we have a mayor that has a team that believes in working together and getting the information out to everybody. So we can proceed in a safe way, right? Of
Mhm.
course, there's going to be people who are anti. Okay, I get it, but it's like we talked about vegan food, right? It's not for everybody. But when we're talking about a very serious situation, I think if I was a betting guy, I would say there are more people erring on the side of caution than there are not erring on the side of caution. Okay.
Yeah. Dana is asking if I don't. Dana, I don't know. I have no idea why the sirens went off in Maui today. She asked if you might know, Charlie. I have no clue.
My
Um,
son never called me, so I'm not sure if they had uh, a serious accident or not. Because if something bad goes on the highway leading into Lahaina, my son would call me because he uses that roadway. But I didn't get any calls today,
yeah.
so I don't know. I apologize. Uh, I just hope that if it's something that seriously happened, I hope and pray that everybody's okay. Everybody's okay.
Well, getting back to what you were talking about, Charlie. There's many possibilities. I guess I could speculate. I really hate speculating, but I think for Kauai, there's no attempt or no attempt to sugarcoat the numbers. Um, Granted, we our numbers are very low, but that's because of the restrictions that are in place. So yeah, the mayor gets a lot of flack for that, and he knew that going in. But for the rest of the islands, I don't understand. Like you said, Charlie, real nonchalant, lackadaisical. They just, I saw someone post that they don't want the tourists to think that Hawaii is not safe. I don't know if there's any kind of malicious type of action or underhanded action. All I know is this: is that it's been a year. We've been through ups and we've been through downs. We've seen the spikes and we've seen the valleys. We've changed the reporting structure several times. We've done so many supposed improvements to the system. Um, I cannot accept that a year later and we still get reporting issues. Hey,
Mhm.
power go off, hurricane hit, some kind of disaster or break in service like a computer line or whatever. But that's not happening. This is just every day people do their job. Every day people take the test, send the test to the lab. The lab runs the test. The lab reports every day for a year, every day. Same process. Same process. We're actually testing less now than we did, but we're still getting problems. And I noticed that in the alert or the article, the update, it was they were very quick to just say, "Oh, it was an error in the way Maui was counting." Listen, guys, it's the Department of Health, which belongs to the state of Hawaii. So there's a problem. There's a problem in communication. There's a problem with procedures or protocols that reporting people have to do. Somebody's not doing their job, and that's I think what upsets me the most is that you know what, we shouldn't have to be subject to that kind of excuses. And we should, as a pandemic now, right? We're not talking about anything. This is a pandemic. The people deserve to know, Charlie. I'm not sure if you posted it or texted it or what, but what good is knowing what the case count was 3 months ago or 4 months ago?
Mhm.
Well, what? Okay, that should have been known 4 months ago, right? So basically, you artificially posted the test to make it seem lower back in November and December, and then you held on to it. And then when the counts are low, okay, now you can put them in the system because the
Well,
counts are low. So I
look,
think that is the part that I'm struggling with. That what part of this process is broken, and how I, I just don't understand. I mean, can you imagine if you worked in a private company, in a corporation, you were in charge of numbers, you were in charge of sales, expenses, and you went up to the CEO and said, "Oh, guy, shucks, boss, you're not gonna believe this, boss. I just found our numbers from November, December, January, and February. Sorry, boss, here it is. You'll be fired. You'll be fired." But you see, in the private sector, all the safety nets are in place, right? If the numbers are not submitted, if the numbers don't look right, somebody catches it. But not in November, Thanksgiving, right? Remember now, that was Thanksgiving. That's when Thanksgiving, we were concerned about gatherings. In December, we were concerned about Christmas, the holidays. And all of a sudden, we find out that we didn't count some cases back then. Oh my God, something is wrong.
well, this is what's I think what is very bothersome about that. You're right. So back then, actually, the people of Maui were shortchanged. They weren't told the truth. That's one way you can look at it, right? Because those numbers weren't there. The real numbers weren't there. Okay? Even though it was there, it wasn't reported there. Okay, that's one. Two. If you look at that DOH release today, it's covering from November to February 1. What is today? Today is February what? 20, what, 7th? Yeah, today.
27, bro.
Okay. So what happened to I can say okay, but what happened to February 2nd until today? Why did it take so long to report it just today? What happened to the holidays in between? You see what I mean? So now that's why if we stick to that argument, and this is not to ding anyone, but if we stick to the argument that the bottom line is it's the average, it's the average, right? Okay, I get it if it's the average. But if there was a mega spike along the way, wouldn't it be useful to let us or just print it that a mega spike came on a Wednesday or a mega spike came on a Friday when there was a large gathering? Right now, everybody's in the dark and they're wondering, hey, where the hell did I mean you look at some of the comments today. They want to know, hey, where are these clusters? They legitimately want to know because it's now making people scratch their heads. And here's the sad thing of it all. And viewers, you can agree to disagree, or you can just downright disagree with Uncle Charlie and tell me, shut up already. Here's the problem that I see. What if legitimately the state finds a way to correct all these problems, right? They find a way. And they release a report that we have fixed the problem. Because they have gone down this rabbit hole so many times, who's going to believe them if they actually fix the problem? That's the problem. That's going to be the problem. For once in their lives, the state is going to be honest with the people of Hawaii and say, we found the problem. But they have BS'd everybody so much, it's going like, I don't care if you found the problem or not, you lie. Ain't going to be all jam up.
I just don't see uh, the complexity of reporting. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. It's how many positives, how many cases, how many people tested, and how many. Sherry, I think it's only you. You might want to reboot your computer or your phone or whatever you're using. Um, she's saying that you're blurry, but I think I haven't seen that from anyone. So try reboot, Sherry,
Yeah.
because he's crystal clear here, and I
Yeah.
have him. I'm actually watching him on my phone that's on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But it's it's you take a test and you report the result.
Mhm.
That's the two numbers. How many people actually got tested, and how many people got tested positive? That's somebody's getting paid a lot of money to track this, and they're not tracking it. So the other thing I really want to find out, Charlie, and we had a very quick discussion because you, as well as I, have heard about the number of variant cases. I just saw Dana post 50 to 60 cases variants. But
Yeah.
this is the question. I want to know where that information is coming from. If you have it, please send me the link. I don't know. I don't have any verified number. I know that we got a report on by our county that we have one. I know we had one on Kauai, but that's the only one I know of. But we've been hearing Honolulu get 20s and Maui get 40 to 50 or 60. I don't want to hear what someone said. I want to be able to point to a source. So if any of you out there have that source, please share it with the show. Share it right there in the comments or message me because that's important. And if we find out that there are, in fact, close to 100, based on the numbers I'm hearing, there's close to 100 variant cases in Hawaii, then we have a major problem with transparency. And that is something that I plan to take as far as I can. But I cannot go based on what someone's heard or um, Dana is saying DOH said 50 to 60 in press. Point me where I gotta go, Dana, please. Point me where I gotta go. I've watched. I actually stopped watching the press conferences already because they're all crap. But if you guys have the date or the time or who said it and when, I'll go find it. I'll go find it. But
Very
I wanna know.
interesting to know. Yeah.
I need the source because that's some heavy numbers on variance. Now that changes the whole picture. That actually You guys all might think I'm at the high level already, like so upset. But if we have close to 170 variants running around,
That is dangerous. That is very dangerous.
yeah, that's that. Then we watch the news tonight, and you see Dave and Buster's. You see all these uh, uh, shops in Honolulu loaded with people because they opened up to the next year. No, we gotta that's a mistake. That's a mistake. Okay, good. Everybody's okay. Hang on, Charlie, because I'm getting all kinds of links. I'm gonna go ahead and try to find it.
Well, let me talk to you. You know, some of you have written today. You saw when I talked about the variants and why it's so important. Some of the microbiologists and all of these formidable scientists around the world have been commenting on different reviews about the variants and why it will put a real strain on trying to reach herd immunity. Because as long as the variant, because what happens is the variant, some way, shape, or form may or may not outrun the vaccine. So therefore, it puts a strain on people getting infected, and so therefore, it puts you won't be able to achieve that the goal of herd immunity. Now, I've never been one to entertain the word herd because I not want cattle, I not want animal, but I guess it's the concept involved. And when enough people get infected, no more people can get infected. And I'm still, maybe that's why I didn't take the class. That's why I wasn't that bright in high school. But I don't remember back in the days when I attended Kamehameha that any of our classes we talked about herd immunity. I can tell you one thing, as I'm Blala, I used to talk about lunch all the time. When was a lunch bell gonna ring so I can go eat lunch? That was about it. So, given that, I think that's something that we got to keep an eye on. There's many articles, and it's all about how you ask the question when you're gonna Google something. Ask the question in many different ways, and you'll get many different responses. And go look at it. You look at for the most recent. And some of the posts that I posted today was as recent as January 21st of 2021. It's pretty recent. It's not back in 2000.
All
Okay.
right, Mark Barbanel. Mahalo, Mark. This is yesterday Star Advertiser talking about the new variant. And I'm just going to read real quick. Right now, with the investigation, it doesn't appear that further transmission has occurred with this P2 strain, said Campbell, who's the state epidemiologist. This variant was brought in because of travel, and there is ongoing travel, so there's always going to be that possibility. Also, surveillance testing confirmed 3 additional cases of the B117 on Oahu, bringing the statewide total to 6, all 6 on Oahu and our household contacts. On Maui, however, there is growing concern over the B1429 variant, which has been associated with an increase of COVID cases on the Valley Isle. The variant has was first detected in Hawaii about a month ago and has gradually become the predominant strain in California. 28 cases of the B1429 were detected on Maui, making up nearly half of the cases of that variant in the state so far. There have also been 17 cases detected on Oahu, 4 on the Big Island, and 1 on Kauai. So that's just that one strain, and then you got the few more. So, guys, I guess the bottom line is that the variants are here, and that's probably why Maui is blowing up, but we don't know. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate the site, bro. So that's it, guys. That was yesterday. I don't know what it is today. If it's the variant creating the spread, then we can expect exponential. And this is again listening to the experts, listening not
Well,
over here, listening to the
no,
experts, Osterholm guys, and they'll tell you that this thing, once it gets a hold, it's crazy.
let me ask you something now. And this is on Q&A for our viewers as well. And tell me if I'm way out of line by asking this question. And I'm not going to talk about anybody's cologne or anything like that or how they smell today. That's not it at all. I personally want to know, How many of you feel out there that if you stayed away from others, how do you come in contact with these viruses? Right? How do you come in contact? If you do everything possible before you take off your mask, wash your hands. Take off your mask, wash your hands. If you do everything that the CDC says, how do you still go ahead and get infected? That's the part that I don't understand. Because if that's the case, and you don't even feel yourself getting infected, then are they saying that as an asymptomatic person, we're still dangerous? Because I know Maui, not everybody is vaccinated yet. So
The
there's that
problem is,
up.
you know,
Yeah.
we don't even know how. The thing is, too, variants are being discovered, you know, relatively frequently, new ones, and we're going to see a lot more uh, throughout this pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, but when when the message, Charlie, is what is being portrayed by the state. Now, you saw the Civil Beat article the other day where obviously our governor, lieutenant governor, not on the same page. We saw that article. It was a great article, and it was so true because we talk about it on our show every night. You know, I know we talked about the governor saying one thing and the lieutenant governor saying another. The governor's trying to be safe. Lieutenant governor thinks we're going to be herd immunity by summer. But that's nor here nor there. The bottom line is when the message uh, is meant to ease fear and concern, then you can see what we saw in the news tonight. You can see gatherings of people. You can see the guy talking to the reporter with the mask below his nose. You can see that it's just going to happen. Now, Dave and Buster's, guess what? They serve alcohol. They serve alcohol, and I don't have anything against alcohol. Trust me, I like a beer now and then. But when people drink and you get that excitement, you know, right now it's like everybody been locked up in cages, especially on Oahu. And today was the day Freedom Day, Freedom Day. What
Hmm.
do you think gonna happen? I mean, no capacity limits for restaurants or for retail stores. No, zero. As long as you can socially distance. I tell you, I have a bad feeling about this. I really do. I
Well,
hope I hope not, but I have a bad feeling, Charlie.
I want to touch on this. Okay. And again, I did see a comment made by a state official and reference it, the comment referenced you and I. And it
Is
basically,
this Charlie? Are you gonna try to see if you can light that fire again?
no, 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 no. I'm not. Let's just down throttle. Let's keep it in first gear. Okay. Then don't let it jump out of gear. Just keep it in first gear. But the point I'm making is the individual actually mentioned us and said that we are spreading fear and we're not actually spreading useful information so people can survive or um, we can build up our economy. And I said, wow, the only information that we give out is from the sources that we have vetted to give out the information. So I guess tape recorders are fearful, right? If you play on tape,
Yeah,
I mean,
you
uh,
know, I saw the thread today.
yeah.
I read the entire thing, and I I think under normal circumstances I would have gotten quite upset.
Okay, throttle down, throttle down.
No, but I didn't because you considered a source. Now
Yeah.
you realize that I understand because he's getting a lot of backlash and it's not just our viewers, people. Just go read the comments in the all any of those news articles or watch the Facebook lives. It's not just our viewers. There's a lot more people that are very upset. But what happened was he made an erroneous statement off a question, without thinking about what the question really was, and then later realize, oops, that wasn't the question that was posed, but like I'm so good at, I'm just going to convince the people that it was, and their numbers are wrong. So you know what, we know what's going on here on Kauai. We do, Charlie. Our viewers know what's going on Kauai.
Yep.
I don't care what the lieutenant governor says. I don't care what the governor says. I don't care what Kemble or Hara or anybody that's not here. I really don't care what they say, because as far as Kauai, because I know, we know, because of the transparency of our leaders, we know the truth. So let them play in their sandbox together.
But you know what's sad, Mel? What is real sad? And I want to say this because we have a lot of viewers that were not from the other counties, other islands. I do want to say this. What's sad is, like you said, we don't care because we've been pretty up on it, right? We've been pretty up on it. But when those individuals who kind of like don't check their information before they put it out there, and they get conditioned to think it's okay, and when they start rolling into the other counties, like Oahu, like Big Island, like Maui, without thinking twice before they say it, it can have a very, very devastating effect. And that's what I worry about. Those kind
Let
of,
me clarify, Chair. Let me clarify. I don't care what they say to me or about me. I guess I should have made that clear. Absolutely. That's what we've been trying to say for so long, is that, and you especially have been harping on the message, right? The messaging. That was your thing from very early on, about the messaging, and yeah, and that's exactly what's happening on Oahu. Because when you watch their leaders, their mayor saying it's time to go wide open, why would you not believe? Why would you think that it was dangerous to go to Dave and Buster's or any place else?
exactly,
So yeah,
exactly.
you're absolutely right, man. And I feel for our brothers and sisters on the neighbor islands. I really do, because we absolutely have no power. Charlie and I, absolutely no power. But we can raise awareness, and we can share information that you all can share. And that's why we hold up the board to share, 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 because the information that we provide can be quite valuable to people throughout the state. And we just want to make sure everybody has the information that's
You,
accurate.
I do want to touch about, I just saw some of the comments and thank you. But just about a few minutes ago, I talked about the variance, right? And tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm going not staying in my lane about this. The reason I brought that up is just plain and simple. A lot of you had given good responses, and that is, you come in contact with somebody or you get touching the surface. You're right. Now just imagine, you got to think about all those kind of stuff. But then you also have officials saying, hey, we open for business. We open wide open. Just that much more you're going to have on your plate to worry about. That's the point that I was trying to make. That's the point that I was trying to make, that, hey, if I'm going to toss something out there that can be dangerous, I'm going to tell you, you know what? Please, I would suggest, even play near these field goals. Get some landmines over there that even I don't know where they're at. And until we can find them, please stay away. Nobody is saying that. Everybody is saying, you know what? If you've been vaccinated for more than 2 weeks, bingo, we open for business. If if the numbers are low and we have nothing to worry about, open them wide open. The only thing that we can't open is sports, right? And one more thing is they talked about today. But other than that, hey, basically tear up that paper that had mandates on capacity. No more capacity. So just imagine if you're gonna play in that realm, and now you gotta decide, okay, I paid for my meal, and this place is really, really overloaded. Do I tell the waitress or waiter, can you box my meal? I'm gonna take this home. Or you wanna be brave enough and rough it out? Because guess what? You're gonna remove your mask for eat. Guess what the other people gonna do? They're gonna remove their mask just for talk story while they're waiting for their food.
Yeah,
Then you go channel like, oh boy, here we go. It's starting.
Yeah, I
And,
tell you
and then
who.
you know that David Buster's. Here's another thing, right? We know for a fact that this virus is transmissible and it's aerosolized, right? We know for a fact. I'm happy for Dave and Buster's. But when you have loud music, alcohol, people screaming at the top of their lungs, guess what happens to the projection of that aerosolized droplet? Instead of just floating 6 feet and dropping, because you yelling for tell your friend because you feeling good and your friend like only 4 feet from you, and yet you yelling at him like he half a mile down the road. Guess what happens to that droplets? It goes way across the other side of the room. And you
That
all,
place, I don't know if you've been in there, but the games, just
yeah,
the games is so loud that you cannot talk normal. And that's why I'm real surprised. You know, I was just going to say, I feel sorry for those business owners. When they talked to the lady tonight at Dave and Buster's, she was so excited. She was on furlough. They brought her back last month. They're
mm,
hiring everybody back. They're bringing everybody back, and they're so excited. And I'm just so worried that it'll be short lived. Again, I try to be a positive person, but I just don't see Hawaii being any different than any other place this variants have went. I worry that it's going to be short lived and people are going to get sick, and then we shut down again. And I just I feel for those people. I feel you could see that COVID was not on anybody's mind in that place, and that's a good thing. I mean, they got away. They got away for that moment, that day that they could relax with their friends and their families. But COVID is like an enemy in a war zone that you cannot forget about. You cannot let your guard down. You simply cannot, because it's gonna get you.
mm.
It's gonna get you. So all we can do is pray, really. And I'm totally serious about that. We pray for everyone, because the more more places going to open up. Everybody that went to Dave and Buster's today going to tell every single one of their friends and families that they went to Dave and Buster's and had a blast. And more people will go. I'm just afraid, Charlie. I'm just afraid. We
Yep.
heard about, there you go. There you go. We heard about South Korea. We heard about the one gentleman that went into a bar and just contaminated and infected a whole community. One person. We know how volatile this thing is, and yet we pretend like it's okay, that we're going to be okay because, we're starting to give vaccines, and I don't know,
Well,
maybe we get trade
you know,
winds and Texas no more. I don't know. I don't know what makes them think Hawaii is so different than the rest of the world.
if the people tonight have a moment to go on to cable, if you're with Spectrum, 1680 to NHK. Okay. I thanks to a good buddy, Mr. Sam Shirai, always watching that because you get a lot of good stuff on there. I mean, but it was only through that I found out today that Japan is putting on more restrictions again because their numbers are on the rise. So I think for those officials from the state who is welcoming Japan over here, uh, I don't think we'll get anybody coming over soon because they're shutting things down in Japan. That's what I saw today. And some of the prefectures there are increasing restrictions, multiple increases, which is so talk about roller coaster, right? That's what I'm afraid. Honolulu is open up like gangbusters, Dave and Busters, but they're opening up big time. What if, and I pray it doesn't happen, but what if something bad happens where they got to shut down again? I mean, it's going to be a very, very uncomfortable time. That's all I can say.
And it's really not good for the psyche, the psyche, the
The
mental
mind,
health of people because it's, how much of this can you tolerate? This is
Yep.
and hopefully it all works out. Um,
Yep.
it's right now the biggest concern for all of us is Maui.
Yep.
Maui is in trouble, and again, when you watch the news, when you watch the press conferences, the focus is on, oh yeah, we had household clusters. They want to, that variants didn't come here from a household cluster. The variant didn't come here out of the ground. The variant came here, and in fact, um, the epidemiologist said the same thing. It came from travel. It came from an airlines. It came from safe travels, guys. You know that safe travels program that I call the unsafe travel program? That's where it's coming from. How much more you need? How much more evidence you need? But no, that's the thing, they will never, ever, ever acknowledge the fact that safe travels is not safe. No, because that's their baby. That's their baby. And that's how they can lure the tourists here. That's the only way they can lure the tourists to Hawaii. So, you know, the old cliche, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. You
You,
know?
you, today I did put out a post just referencing the fact that with this unfortunate situation that Maui had with the number count, that there was something wrong with the counting system, right? You go and you think about the unemployment system, right? The the outdated system in its entirety, right? And you think about it. You think about it real hard. And I put a post out saying, if you were ready to go into a open heart procedure, the medical experts that can work on you, they're already preparing way in advance. Because once they open you up, you're racing against the clock. Okay, that's one. They will not open you up and then decide, okay, let's check the equipment to see that everything is working while you're open up on the table. I don't think they're going to do that. I know they're not going to do that. That's what I'm saying about this state. They know that we get all these problems. Why did they wait for the most critical time when the thing should have been fixed prior to, right? It's like on fire department. You know that all the fire hoses you get on the truck get holes in them. No go wait until you respond to the fire, hook them up to the fire hydrant, and they find out you don't have enough water pressure because all the water leaking from the side. You knew about them hoses. Why didn't you fix it earlier? I did several posts on that today. And I said it's a sad and scary, put it that way.
Yeah. But it comes back to what you said, Charlie, about how you catch a virus if you're following all the safety rules.
Mhm.
The thing with COVID though, you cannot let up. Yeah, you cannot sneak. You if you want to end this virus, if you want to end this pandemic, you gotta isolate. The first thing is you gotta isolate the virus. You gotta isolate the virus so that you don't get any new virus and new infections. I'm not talking about quarantine or you got 14 days. You come in contact with someone that is positive. You go to your house. No, you gotta isolate. Isolate meaning you don't come in contact with anybody. But for those that are not exposed, like hopefully us, we gotta wear the mask everywhere you go. You gotta wear the mask, and you gotta wash your hands before you touch your mask to take it off. But you cannot let up. You have to do that 24/7.
Repeatedly. Yep.
24/7 because the one time that you don't, that's when you get hit. And I think when you're walking into a family gathering or a store, and it's all clean, and you forget that the virus could be lurking somewhere. You go up there and somebody talking loud, somebody sneeze or cough, you just don't know. The thing is, now remember, the thing is on your mask. And if you take off your mask and you don't wash your hands after that, and you touch your face, bingo. If you put your mask on and you don't sanitize your hands after you put your, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. And people don't take that seriously. And when they start opening churches on Oahu now, they're going funerals. That's the high risk areas that I think going to come back to bite us in Okole. I
You
think
know
it'll
how
come back to bite us in Okole.
everything plays out is like this, real simple. For those who still, first of all, Rosie, I'm having good news. That's what I just had throughout this whole time because I believe I needed a little good news. You know, when you're small growing up, you have a choice. Your parents says, "Hey, I'm gonna take you swimming classes." I don't like golf. I don't like golf. No, you should learn how to swim. We live in Hawaii. We got water all around it. No, I don't like golf. I don't like golf. Fast forward to now as an adult, you jump in the ocean, you nearly drown. What you tell yourself? Gee, I should have took swimming lessons. Kind of too late, right? Especially when you're in the deep end of the pool. You know, you don't only want to 865, you get water wings on while all the kids are swimming back and forth, swimming laps. And you look kind of foolish with your water wings, right? That's how it is with this whole variant. That is, okay, you're gonna be inconvenienced. You're gonna look like a mamad with the mask on. Okay, it's fine. Because Asia has been wearing masks for how long? Even, when I used to extradite, I used to always ask myself, the Japanese, they're always wearing masks. You know what? They knew something before we did. Maybe we could have learned something back there. So you're gonna get inconvenience. Hey, go along with the plan. It will save you. You know. Some people say, you know what? I don't like park that far. More convenient. I park right there. Yeah, but you know why we're not parking there? Because if you look on the ground, you get a lot of bird crap. That's why nobody parking over there. Nah, they're not going. You go park over there. What happened when you come back to your car? Full of bird crap. Then what? What would it have been? Just for park maybe 100 yards down the other way and take a leisurely stroll, right? You park in a place that no more bird crap.
See how thought provoking? Because it's so true that every one of us is guilty of that, right? You take that closed stall, and then you get the purple doodle on your hood. That purple one. You know the one that if you don't wash off right away, it permanently stay in your car.
Yeah,
Damn birds.
yeah. And
Uh,
that bird was eating berries. Look at berries, look at with citric acid in there that burned the paint.
so Pak Mofa, but wear your mask.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's on the horizon. I mean, I know we had the mayor and Dr. Behrman. They're looking at possibly re-entering safe travels. I know legislature is hearing Bill 1286. They're trying to get that passed so they can mandate the governor. I mean, the mayor. The bottom line is that's specifically for Kauai. It's so obvious. It just drives me nuts. But they won't admit that. They won't admit it. They're just saying that the state has to all be together. Well, we don't like have the numbers, and I don't like sound horrible, but we don't want the numbers like Maui and Honolulu and Big Island. We don't. There is a balance to be that we need to get to, but I think our mayor made it clear that he wants all the employees vaccinated. He wants all the precautions in place before he allow or before he goes back into safe travels. The problem is safe travels. Kauai is a very attractive island, and yes, I will tell you this, and I've heard this from many reliable sources that when Kauai opted out back in November, many of the visitors changed their reservations from Kauai to Maui. It's Kauai, Maui. Before, Maui used to be the most sought after destination in the state, and now it's Kauai. So they changed. So we understand that, and we lost a lot of our. I won't say a lot because there's not that many that are traveling, but there was definitely visitors that were had planned and paid to come to Kauai, but because of the bubble resort, the 3-day quarantine, they opted out. They went to Maui. I don't think the change is going to drastically increase travelers to Kauai, but it will increase travelers coming from the hot zones that want to get out of the hot zone because Kauai is the lowest numbered county. We're very attractive because of the safety of our island. So we're going to get a lot of those visitors that are getting out of areas that are hot and COVID infested. They're going to be coming here on a one test system, which we know, and I don't care what the lieutenant governor say. What we know is true is that the vast majority of the positive patient or travelers that come in are visitors. A majority of our positive cases were travel related. So we know we lived it, we've seen it, and that is my only fear is that I don't think we're going to get up to 5, 6, 7,000 passengers a day. But remember, I said earlier, it only takes one. Only
You
takes one.
you know how it's going to be. You know when they ask you that question at the airport, you come in. Have you been in contact with anyone with COVID? No, no, no. Have you traveled to any place that did you come from? Did you travel in the last weeks? Nope. No. I mean, that's how it's gonna be. And I, and you know what's really funny is, and it shouldn't be funny, but it is. You notice when somebody make just one itty bitty cough, right? Just one itty bitty cough, everybody just look at that person like, danger, 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 right? Now you're wondering why people are farting more because they don't want to cough and they hold them in so much they let them out the back end. That's why it's dangerous. That's why it's dangerous. I'm telling you, gotta be careful.
You know,
Thought provoking.
I tell you, that Denver flight that the engine had blow up and was on fire coming from Denver to Honolulu. You know that they had over 300 passengers on that plane.
Yeah.
That plane was maxed out. That plane was maxed out. I don't know how many of those passengers were planning to go to Maui or to the Big Island, or maybe even Kauai. I don't know. The resort bubbles work. They work. People come here and they'll stay in a resort bubble. But just the thought that 300 plus people decided that it was okay to fly, and that's happening with all. I'm hearing that a lot of the flights are coming back here, and it's not all visitors; it's returning residents as well. But these planes are full. Planes are full. So when you when you watch the news and you see all these people talking about their concern about the variants, you know what they're saying? They're saying, hey, they're warning everybody, saying don't let the decrease in numbers across the country make you feel relaxed because that's normal until the variants catch hold, and then it's going to be worse. But people still believe it's okay, and they jump in a plane with 300 other people breathing the same air. Crazy, crazy.
But you know how these people think. You remember back in the old days? I remember when I was first a rookie, right? People would come to Hawaii thinking that's paradise, no more crime. And yet they wonder, this is my first trip to Hawaii. We got burglarized. I just thought that kind of stuff doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
Sorry, it does. And it's just like people getting sick. Let's go to Hawaii. People just don't get sick there. Wrong.
Yeah. The problem is that a lot of these people this virus is hitchhiking on them. And
Yep.
you may never get sick. They may never get, maybe they get a little symptom. They ain't going to the doctor. You know that. They take a couple Advil and the body ache go away and they're done. And then they just spreading the damn thing all over the place. And remember, these guys coming on safe travels, they can rent a car. They can go
Mm.
right to get their car and enjoy. I have nephews that work at the rental cars. They drive the shuttle vans, and we know our good friend died from COVID
Yep.
driving a shuttle van. That's how he got it. And so I worry about so many people, even the hotel industry. I mean, many of the hotel employees that are begging to go back to work. I fear for them because it, you don't know, right? You just don't know how contagious that particular guest might be. I don't know. I, I gotta take a chill pill.
I laughing, and I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at myself because I get a warped sense of thinking. Just imagine these guys come off the plane, they're gonna rent one car, right? Guy choke sweating, and the poor guy, maybe he get one fever, right? No, he gonna tell the rent a car. The shuttle band they'll pick me up at to walk all the way from the terminal, and you think I got 101 temperature. Just imagine when you walk in through the door like a budget, right? Choke sweat coming down. Just imagine the faces of the employees in there go, oh no, can somebody please fill in for me right now? I gotta use the bathroom. These are the kind of stuff that the frontline workers are gonna be faced with.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that, hey, this guy is bona fide sick. But the question is, what did he actually tell people to get out of the airport? No, I never come in contact with no one with COVID. No, I'm not sick. I'm okay. Have you had any coughing spells lately? Nope. Nope. Stuff like that. Ooh, spooky, spooky.
Yeah. Somebody just posted on the Big Island. They're seeing a lot of mainland license plates. I was just making mention of that last week. I have noticed a ton of uh, cars on Kauai now with the mainland plates, and we know it's no secret that people are buying property here on Kauai sight unseen. They're buying and moving because who the hell would want to live in an area that has a COVID pandemic that's out of control and people are dying all around you? Um, so that's the other issue that this pandemic has created is housing. It's just the
Buying friends.
collateral damage of this pandemic is going to be felt for a very long time. And you know, man, it's going to be more important now to for all of us to band together and help each other out because we will be overrun, man. That's just what's going to happen, and no one's going to be able to stop it.
Or did you see what that guy? Did you see what the guy talked about the Realty Association yesterday on the news? He said on average people are working in the mainland, right? So I don't see, like you said, he said he's never seen this craze before. People says, I'll take it. I'll take it. Average cost of a home, 983,000 to 1.2 million. But they're also speculating that they gotta watch when the bubble bursts, they're gonna get a lot of foreclosures. Because you get a lot of young guys putting this kind of money where their monthly mortgage gotta be astronomical, right? Gotta be astronomical.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is they're taking a lot of inventory off, for the local people. And but again, you got the money to buy, cannot really stop them.
No, cannot. The economic devastation from COVID is going to be worse than any natural disaster we've had. It's just going to happen. And
Hmm.
I see the Fed. I mean, the Congress trying to pass some bills. They all excited. Everybody's going to get $1,400. That's one payment, one rent payment or mortgage. And that's it, and it's gone.
Yeah.
That's it. All this bickering up there for $1,400. It's going to take a whole lot more $1,400 to get people through this, and
Yeah.
if the variant, if what they're predicting happens, if this variant comes and starts the cycle all over again,
Yeah.
holy moly! I mean, seriously, um, life as we know it will change much more than it already has.
You
Much
know,
more
if
than it already has.
if something does happen, and I pray it doesn't, I pray to God it doesn't. But if something does happen, I'll be the first one to admit that I'll come on the show, I'll look straight at the camera, and I'll direct my attention to some state officials, and I'll say, "What did we tell you? What did we tell you?" Because number one, it's all about the messaging. We can do things safely, but give the people the proper direction, right? You just don't take them on cruise and you find out first how many are good swimmers and how many aren't. You just don't take them on a cruise, man. Enjoy the water of Malta and throw them in the ocean, hoping that they're going to swim. Because you may get a lot that are going to drown. To me, that's not fair. It's all about the messaging. You message it right, we can do things right. Yeah. Um, you and I talked about this thing. There was one person that kind of challenged me. He goes, I've done this 3 times. And that's about the Mardi Gras that happened at Aloha Tower a couple nights ago, last night, right? Because we've done this before. We have mask patrols and make sure everybody wears their mask. There'll be no dancing. There'll be Everybody will be separated. Well, our good friend posted some photos today. It sure as hell didn't look that way at all. Everyone was wearing a mask, Mardi Gras mask, not covering their face, covering their eyes. They were wearing that. People were dancing. I didn't see no mask patrol. My understanding was you had to wear a mask until such time your drink or food came, and even and then nobody did that. It showed pictures of tables completely empty, just a drink in their hand. Looks like they were talking stories, and then all of them just were not wearing a mask, and there was nobody going around to enforce that. So when you play with those kind of variables, that's the BS that's a BS variant known as the well, to say it, but it's the BS variant. Then you know what's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. Let's take a look down the road. Let's give it about 7 to 10 days, and then let's see. But guess what? Guess who gets hurt? All those people that have been working the front line in the hospitals fighting this thing for all this time. Like you said, no, that cycle starts all over again. When they gonna get to take a break? Because get some people just so damn negligent and so damn selfish. And some people say, well, we ought to build more ICUs. Okay, but where you gonna get the staff to staff those ICU units? Come on.
Even that comment, Charlie. Go build more ICUs. Like what for? For more people to die?
Yeah.
I mean that's come on, guys. We got to stop the disease from filling the existing ICUs. That's what we got to do. That Aloha Marketplace, you know, the lady that put it together assured us that there would be no dancing. The dancing was not going to be allowed.
Yeah.
But they don't care. You see, they say they care, but they don't care. They say they're concerned, but they're not concerned. And you're
Mhm.
right, Charlie. It's all of the people that are not participating in that's at risk. The next day these guys go work or they go to school or they go wherever they go, and they're after being in this little happy hour function where you're dancing and swapping spit and all of that nonsense where you're drinking all that alcohol. It's the people that you come in contact or they come in contact with that had no intent to go take risks. They're focusing on their families and they're doing what they need to do, but they come in contact with someone who didn't care about
Mhm.
others, and that is why that's where I feel the hurt. As you guys, man, you don't know that whole thing which started long ago. The mask doesn't protect you; it protects others. That's it. We gotta sacrifice to protect others. And there's a lot of people that don't care about other people. They just don't. And that's just the unfortunate reality of life in today's world. So that's why it's even more important now. Like I
Yep.
come, you see your friend went to that Aloha place, Aloha marketplace. You see him
Oh,
3 or 4 days later. You tell him, you stay away from me, man. I don't want to hear about your escapades, your selfishness. You go hang out by yourself till you incubate. Sad, man. Sad.
okay, okay, throttle down, throttle down. You're in third gear. Bring it back down to first gear.
No, man.
Clutch him several times. Clutch.
No. Charlie, I care and worry so much about other people that are not doing anything. They don't deserve to get sick, right?
You're absolutely
No
right.
one deserves to get sick. And this is such a preventable illness. That is sickening when we find out how many people are getting sick because we're not following the rules. It's such a preventable illness that we can, but as long as you get greed, as long as you get selfishness, as long as you get the special interest pushing decision makers to make risky decisions in the interest of money, people gonna get sick. That's just unfortunate, but we can take care of ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves and our loved ones. That's it, man.
Yep. I agree. I agree. And tonight we've been pretty much you and I have been just hashing this out with all of our viewers, the people that have been coming on day in and day out, because we're trying to look at it's coming down to the wire where really Mel, I do want to start focusing on what is making this state tick, because whatever they decide, it affects all of us. And some of us just don't have the stamina to go through it if the state wants to roll the dice, and it's going to take just that extra more effort, and some other people are just tired, and those are the ones that I want to keep an eye on. I want to keep an eye on those people who are tired, because I don't want them to fall at the wayside. They shouldn't become needless victims. They shouldn't become a victim of somebody else's decision. Remember, like when we talked about that, if you're an elected official, you know you represent the constituency. It's not the other way around, where we got to go represent them just to further their their political careers. It's all about safety right now. It's all about
Yeah.
safety, and I think we got to start remembering that, gang. That your safety is paramount, and that you only have one life to live. You cannot turn back the hands of time once that life is snuffed out. And you know what's? I just thought about it today. I read about Maui, and I thought about when they brought my brother back and laid him to rest, with his family on Maui, his adopted family on Maui. To think that all these things are happening now on Maui, it's just like, and sometimes I just wish he was alive. I just wish he would have survived, so he can just give a shout out to everybody. Say, come on, gang, wake up, wake up. You don't have to play the game and get one close call. Because some people have had close calls, and guess what? They went a little bit too far and they never recovered from it. That's the danger of it all. That's the danger of it all.
Yep. 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 I mean, we've heard from enough patients of COVID.
Yep.
We've had a bunch of them on the show, but we've also seen their commentaries on YouTube or Facebook, not just from here, but from around the country. And I don't know how anybody can watch one of those testimonials and not feel that this is dangerous. I just don't, man. I just don't. But anyway, Charles, it's 8 o'clock, bro.
Yes. Well,
What words, what thought-provoking words of wisdom do you have for us tonight, bro?
well, as you and I talked about prior to coming on tonight, hopefully we were gonna do a 3 hour show, go to 10 o'clock, but I don't think we're gonna make it. It reminds me of the our good friends over at KHON. They got the 9 o'clock news. You know the ones from 9 to 10.
Yeah.
The 10 o'clock news come on. It's the same thing. They're sure from 9 to 10. So I told my wife, "You want to watch this again?" She goes, "Well, maybe get something different." I go, "No, that's not how it works." But I just want to say I love you all, and I mean it sincerely that I love every single one of you who join us every single night. I thank you for putting up with my dry humor. As you can tell, sometimes I miss the stage, but I haven't had any hecklers, so uh, there's no need for me to be mean. But just know that I love you all. And one thing, if I can just ask, and that is again, if you're gonna do something out there, and it just seems like you're not fitting in with the crowd, just because they're not wearing a mask doesn't mean that you got to be part of that crowd. Just keep your mask on. If you see some dangerous things happening, it doesn't mean that you got to go over there and remind them. If they want to be a bunch of knuckleheads, let them go. It's not worth getting into a fight over. But just make sure that you're taking all the precautions yourself. So whatever other people do right now, that seems very, very dangerous. You know, just protect yourself. That's all I can emphasize right now. Just protect yourself, please. Because I'm hoping and praying that when we wind down the Mel and Charlie show and we move into another direction, that we'll still see the familiar names that we do every single time when we start up. We see the familiar names and we are so grateful. So I want to say thank you so very, very much for joining us tonight. And I hope you have a great weekend. Hope you have a great weekend. Now,
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you all, guys. It always warms our heart when we see y'all on. I mean, we got a lot of you that's been here from the beginning. We got a lot of you that are new. We got some that unfortunately gave up watching because they couldn't buy into the philosophy of health before wealth. But we appreciate you all because, again, like I've said so many times, if we didn't have viewers, we wouldn't have a show. And we enjoy doing this because of all of you. Charlie and I don't think we could talk to each other for an hour every night without you folks. It may be hard. I mean, especially with him eating his Snickers and Good News and Reese's and all of that. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. So thank you all again. Be safe. Think of others, not just yourself, because I think if we do that, we're going to give this virus a run for its money. Okay. Tomorrow is Sunday, guys. You guys relax, take care, stay safe, and enjoy. I'm gonna go eat some more um, eggplant. What's it called, Charlie? Eggplant
eggplant, Parmesan.
parmesan. That's it. Made some eggplant from our yard. It's something about eating your own vegetables, man. I love it. Eggplant parmesan. I'm gonna have that. Another piece. So you guys enjoy. Take care. God bless. We love you guys. We'll see you guys on Monday night at 7 o'clock. Aloha.